2026 Groundhog Day. And this hop, it'll be my third year doing this hop. And this hop is all about taking a layout of yours from the past and then scrap lifting it, and then scrap lifting it again, and then scrap lifting it again. So I'm going to show you where I started. This is a layout from 2013 that I started with. And the first year, so 2024, I scrap lifted it and I created this layout. So this layout was, I scrap lifted the circle, I scrap lifted the line, I scrap lifted the big mat on top, and that is what I ended up for 2024. And then 2025, I took this layout and I scrap lifted to this. Still had the circle, but this time had a full circle. Still had a little bit of the line across, but this time used paper. And instead of having a big block, I used two photos here and had diagonal embellishments. Here I had just a little bit of embellishments and a title, but basically I kind of switched it up to have mainly the circle, the two photos. So you can see how it went from this to this to this. So what are we doing this year? So this year I pulled out some papers and did something a little bit different. Um, First of all, I was couldn't find a paper that had a good background circle. So instead, look at that. On my Cricut, I cut out this shape. So instead of using a circle, this year we're going to be using this frame shape. I'm going to just take it off so we can start to see it. I'll put my mat over here. But I wanted to keep some of the circle elements from this page. And so I've got this really cool Pink Fresh Studios Happy Heart collection that has the circles on the background. You can see that paper that I used last time had circles on the background. This time we're going to have this as our focal point. And I also wanted to keep the idea of having two photos going different directions. So I do have two photos. I have a horizontal and a vertical. This is of a celebration we did at the wine bar. And then I picked this paper that has the pinks and a little bit of the oranges, yellows to maybe mat the photos. I may not end up using this. On the back of this, it does have this yellow, and this is where I started from looking at this paper. So I may not end up using this at all. So we'll see how I feel about that. But then I have this paper that has in all the right colors of this paper, just words. Thank goodness, to-do list, making it count. I want to remember this. Amazing. I love this paper. It's from I think the Hello Today collection or something. And then I have a few just knickknacks. I have a frame. I have some scallop borders. I have some word stickers. But that's where we're going to go with this. I don't have a lot. I'm trying to use scraps, and I know you guys have heard this a few times this year already. I'm trying to really use up my scrap paper. So all three of these were in my 100 pieces of paper kind of set that I'm trying to use up this year. And so this will use two of the pattern pieces, and one of the background pieces has just kind of been sitting there. So that's one of my goals. I may pull in something else. And in fact, I may pull in just the branding strip from that other one to go across here, or I may pull in ribbon. I don't know. But that's what we're going to do to get started. And I'll put you on fast forward so you can see it come together. And the first thing that I'm showing you is that I picked ribbon. I decided to put that pink paper back in my stash and use it for something different. I am going to gut a yellow piece of card to use as both the background and as the mats for this. I liked how there was a solid color mat on the layout that I'm lifting. You can see the layout that I'm lifting here. That circle element's a huge part of it, and I'm kind of taking that background away a little bit in this one. Part of the reason is my photos are bigger. And I don't know if you can tell that, but the photos I have in the layout that I'm lifting, I think were 3x5. And these layout photos are true 4x6s. So it just makes it a little bit harder to do the kind of page that I had before. But I did want to lift as much as possible. I love the fact that I'm lifting the fact that the Vicky Bouton paper from Discover and Create had those circles, and now I'm using this Pink Fresh with a different kind of circles, but you can still see them. I also really loved the idea of scrap lifting the two different orientations of photos. I don't know about you, but I tend to get most of my photos now are up and down just because we're using our iPhones and that's the way we hold our photos. Also, most of our photos we print out in 3x5 or 3x4, and we don't do that 4x6 as much as we used to. So, really enjoying having two 4x6 photos, one of which was with people in it, was actually the landscape. And this is landscape on purpose because to get all the people at the wine bar in it. So this is a photo of our local wine bar. The owner of the wine bar actually passed one of his sommelier classes, and a group of the regulars there were there to celebrate him. Big journey, really important, and we wanted to make sure that he knew that we appreciated him. So we all showed up, and this is a picture both of him opening the gifts that we got him, and also the just the all of us who showed up. So my tape broke. I am still making this tape runner work. We're gonna keep making it work until it's not an option anymore, um, because I love this little tape runner, and it's working 99% of the time now. I did love the pinks and the yellows there. I just love that paper that had all the words that had, all the good words on it. I also really liked mimicking that banner I had at the top of last year's layout with the plan for good things, because really that's kind of what this is about. Is he planned for good things, you know, worked on it, made it happen, and it was great. Now, ends up I'm covering up a lot of the background design. It's there, you can see it, and I think it's still part of the overall layout. I think it'll be interesting when I scrap lift this next year to see if that background shape shows up. I'm sure I will try, because obviously what I do every year is I pull out all of these. So when I get to next year, I'll pull out the ones before it and see, oh, there was a bunch of shapes. I wanted to use this little, I don't know why, this envelope, this cute little manila envelope just really talked to me. And I wanted to use that for the journaling. So instead of having the journaling on the lower left, I'm putting it there under the photos. I did have a few pieces that I had just been pulling out. There are scallops on the blue piece in the photo that I'm lifting, and I wanted to have scallops in here, but because I used the ribbon, I don't have scallops. So I found a tag that has scallops and two scallop die cuts. I also have this frame that's just the right colors. So we're just sticking it on there. It's just a little bit of added something, mimics the shape that was in the background. And that's one of the things I thought was perfect. So I'm just trying to continually do things to mimic what I've got in the layout to make it work. Pulled out a few words here, and I'd forgotten why I'd pulled this sheet out, and I was like, oh, I don't really see anything. There's one that says get stuff done, and the whole purpose of pulling this out was it has the word goals on it, and I completely forgot to use goals when I put the first two words down. So finally I got goals and put it up there, and I was trying to figure out how to put something in that tag. I went back to the My Little Scrapbook Store Scrappy Bits. This is the seafoam, matches perfectly to the colors in here. And I don't know why I didn't get a tray to pick her out. Instead, just attempted to do it with my hand, this whole thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my hand to put these down. That takes probably 10 times longer than if I had just gotten the stick out and done it with a stick, but you get to watch me struggle a little bit. You're also getting to watch me just realize I have one more pulled out on my hand. What am I going to do with it? So then I just put it on that manila envelope there at the bottom and just say, oh, hey, might as well use that. So I could have just put it right back in the thing, but I didn't do that. So see, there are lots of fun decisions being made. Last thing I'm going to do is journal here. and that's going to close out this layout. Actually, the last thing I'm going to do is search for quite a long time to figure out the date of this and stamp the date on that tag on the lower left. I'm trying to really hard to get back to putting dates on things. I've been going through my layouts I did from 2025, and I didn't date as many of them as I should have, and it's really hard to put them. I work on layouts as I feel, but I store them chronologically. And it's really hard to put things chronological if you don't date them. So, trying to find the date for this, going to put it on there, and then I'll stick it in my 2025 book. But I hope you appreciated this. I really am loving this Groundhog Day idea. It's fun to lift yourself. It's also fun to see how a page progresses. And I hope to see you next year when I do this. I'm going to come back live and walk you through the final layout. Thanks, everyone. So this is the final layout. I think I did a pretty good job of scrap lifting. The layout you'll see up here. And it has, instead of a circle, it has a little diagram. It has the two pictures, different sizes. It has the piece down here with a line. It has the piece up here, which we had in the last one, and some journaling title over here. So it's a little bit different than the first page, but I think you can still see the way I've scrap lifted from page to page to page. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm loving Groundhog Day, and I will see you next year when I scrap lift this layout. And stay with me. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.